Welcome everybody to yet another webinar on this time on Catharanthus roseus, Vinca. And this is the first part of a series of two. This one is about successful germination. Speaker is Ivan Postniakov, our technical sales expert of Syngenta flowers. Thank you. Ivan, take it away.
Thank you, Michael, and I happy to welcome everybody who is joining today this nice webinar. I hope it will be nice, and I hope you will find a new solutions for your own personal reason, and you find a way how to produce your exceptional and fantastic plants of the Catharanthus. And let's start with our assortment. As formerly I explained, we have for other crops, we have a fantastic assortment of Catharanthus as well. And the first brilliant series I mentioned here in the table, it's a Cora XDR and Cora Cascade XDR. What is the behind of XDR abbreviation? I will let you know later on. But now let's just keep in mind that it's extra disease resistant, meaning so those two varieties is a series is a really resistant again, strong resistant against Phytophthora, because with the Phytophthora we have very huge issues and very huge problem even in the tropical regions, despite of the Catharanthus derived from tropical regions. So that's why it is a welcome crop here in all kind of region, especially in the dry and hot regions. And by the way, Catharanthus can be resistant against the rain as well. So let's go to another varieties, another series. We have not only XDR series, we have a Sandstorm, Blockbuster, Cobra, and Sun Jewel. Other varieties has specific properties, like a Sandstorm is very early in the blooming. Blockbuster very suitable with the big pots because of the very nice performance and huge flower. And the Cobra it's very excellent for the small packs and the small pots. And the Sun Jewel excellent for the packs or trays with a small size of the cells, and this is a very exceptional item for mass production of the Catharanthus. Here you can find the reference and the link for the catalog on the page in the catalog, where you can find more information, plenty information about the crop and the entire assortment. And especially I very like to watch the assortment and glance how many varieties we have. And here I explain how many varieties for each genetic we have. Cora XDR offered in 11 varieties plus one, because now the red one is not really XDR. It's strong as well, but not really XDR. And we wait in the innovation. But anyway, we have also the red color varieties there as well. And we have two mixes. For Cora Cascade, you can see here a very nice plant, which is really has a really cascade habit, and you can see it's overlapping the pot, and it start to hanging out from the pot. From the pot. And in this series, we have already 10 colors plus one mix. Blockbuster very suitable for a huge pot and for the patio pots. And we have very excited that we have there 15 varieties, 15 really nice color plus two mixes. For all varieties, Sandstorm, Cobra, and Sun Jewel, you can use that for the small pots and for the packs. And in the Sandstorm, we have 10 colors. In a Cobra, we have 13 colors, and in Sun Jewel, 8 colors, and plus mixes for each series. Let's go. What kind of opportunity you have with our genetic of Catharanthus? I would like to display here just only two pictures, not many pictures, just only two examples. Here you can see 2 years old Cora Cascade XDR grown in the about 50 liter or 40 liter container, already in a Vietnam location. Please note that this plant positioned or placed under the tree, and even in the shading condition, they're able to bloom quite plenty. And in right picture, you can see example of the landscaping, as because XDR genetic very uh, sustainable in many conditions because of really strong resistance against the phytophthora. You can apply this nice landscaping, which is and this, of course, this landscaping is very long lasting because a plant very resistant against the phytophthora, and don't fading out, which can be absorbed for the competitors varieties. And okay, let's go to the technical tips. What we should be focused on when we're talking about the growing condition, and when we're talking about what we need to provide for the Cora in the focus. And in the focus, we have 5 components of success with a Catharanthus. First one is right genetic. Later on, I will try to explain you what's mean right genetic. Hygiene. Again, today we will talk about a lot of we spend a lot of time for hygiene again, because this is very critical for Catharanthus. About pH, Catharanthus is not very sensitive to pH, but the fungus diseases, it's very sensitive. So that's why I really advise to use a pH below 5.8. And of course, Phytophthora. What can we do without Phytophthora in this webinar? Of course, we can mention, because this is a very aerial Phytophthora is a very dangerous for the Catharanthus. Even later on, I will explain, even with the disease resistance varieties. And fungicide rotation. This is a critical item. Sometimes I mentioned about the active ingredient rotations, and today we will talk a little bit more on that. Let's go. What's about XDR genetic? XDR genetic, it means extra disease resistant. Please make a choice. If you try to choose more cheaper varieties, please be aware that you can see that you can find in your place results like displayed in the left side of these slides. So that's why I would like to pay a lot of attention on genetic. And here you can see the damage which came with the Phytophthora, and after this damage, plant cannot be recovered anymore. So that's why genetic is very critical item when you start with a Catharanthus, and when you try to prepare for sowing. So choose the right seeds with the right genetic. I try to play the video, and I sorry in advance, maybe it cannot be with the sounds. Michael, please let me know.
It's only music, so you don't miss a lot.
Okay. So here you can see the results of the trials in United States, in southern region. And here you can see the difference, resistant variety and not resistant variety. In this video, you can find the one picture where the place in the two part of the one area placed resistant and not resistant varieties. And there you can find, if you later on try to watch this video by yourself, you will see the difference. That experiment happened in the high disease background, and grower applied, I mean the scientist applied water with the spores of Phytophthora, and you can see results. Varieties which has a very strong resistance, able to survive even when when the scientists add to the water spores of Phytophthora, but not resistant variety damaged completely. So that's why the proper genetics is very critical for this kind of crop, for all that varieties. And
Yeah,
now
Ivan,
about
let me pause a moment to mention that we also included these pictures and this story in our catalog. If you go to page 32, there is a page fully dedicated to the threats of Phytophthora and our solutions against that. Just want to remind at this moment that we have a Q&A button at the bottom of the screen where you are able to post your questions. Feel free to do this during the webinar. You can also wait until the end, but you're more than welcome to ask your questions during the webinar. Please continue, Ivan.
Thank you, Michael. And here I would like to explain again about what is a quarantine, because a quarantine is in hygiene is a very critical items, and the quarantine is a most strong part of the hygiene activity, because it is better to prevent disease appearance in advance than to struggle to try to in attempt to eliminate diseases in the greenhouse. So this better way, not let them go in, not let the spores go to the inside the greenhouse. So how you can reach this condition? First of all, follow the quarantine. So in this picture, you can see what is applicable for the young plant location, what is unapplicable, completely unapplicable. First, entrance in the early of the morning is applicable for the all employees, but it is not possible, or it is not, or it should be even prohibited to let the people back from the area with the mature plants to the area with the young plants. And so please don't forget to make notes or make proper and to show proper information to the growers, like I displayed here in a small red picture above the young plant scheme of young plant greenhouse. No entry without permission. This is what I really like to display clearly for your employees, and to explain it clearly for your employees. Not possible to bag ready plants and to bag mature plants into young plants greenhouse, and to bag all used material to the young plant greenhouse. Use only disposable or only new material or cleaned material for young plant production. And of course, mind the gap, I try to remind it every time, and I try to not forget to remind it every time. And what's the next? What's about source of infection? If you know exactly knows about where the spores came from, you have already in your hands very nice tool. This knowledge will help you to provide clean or proper condition, clean condition to your greenhouses. First of all, spores can come with the ready plants. So that's why try to interrupt any ways how the ready plants can come into the greenhouse. Not apply at the same time the same greenhouse for ready plant production. Here you can see I display especially hanging plants, not use a greenhouse for young plant production, for hanging baskets, to place their hanging baskets, because the spores of Phytophthora can be spread with the water, and normally spreading with the water. So that's why this is one of the best source of the diseases in the greenhouse. The second thing is a substrate. Please be aware that naturally derived or natural substrate with the natural ingredients can be dangerous for Catharanthus, especially in a seedling stage and a young plant stage, because some kind of plant residuals can bear spores or canidia of Phytophthora. All trays or all materials which can be used in a greenhouse, if you try to use recycling trays, please clean it properly. Clean it with specific chemicals, with the chemicals which able to kill or eliminate spores completely. And of course, the people. Sometimes I talk to and I advise to growers that people is the main carrier of all diseases and pests. So if people able to go or to enter into the greenhouse with the young plant without any specific permission, I mean the people who not involved, who shouldn't be involved in the young plant production, they should be prohibited to enter into the greenhouse. And of course, plant residuals. Not be lazy to remove all the plant residuals and of course the weeds from the greenhouse. It will be the better practice to achieve the best quarantine condition into your greenhouse. Let's go to the another items. Mind the gap. What I mean when I talking about mind the gap is the gap between the floor and the plants, even the young plants. Young plants can be doesn't matter what kind of approach you're using to create a distance between the floor and the bottom of the trays, or bottom of the trays with the seedlings, or bottom with the of the pots. It can be table, it can be benched, it can be like a specific material which should be placed between the trays and the floor. Anyway, you can provide you need to provide a gap between the floor or between the ground of the greenhouse and the plants, and not forget to cover the ground, open ground of the greenhouse. This is the best practice how to avoid spreading and collecting a spore, not only Phytophthora, it's also concerning to other diseases, and of course as well for bacterial diseases, it can be which can be dangerous for Vinca or Catharanthus as well. About the substrate, please pay attention, pay specific attention about your substrate. In the bottom left corner, you can see one example of the from one grower location, that grower used the materials, substrate to prepare substrate materials derived from the plant residuals, from rice husk. Sometimes it is possible to use for ready plants, but I strongly advise not to use this kind of material or this kind of substrate components for the young plants. What kind of material is preferable? Coco peat is preferable, and the peat on the base of the wood fiber. Why it is applicable, or why it is preferable for the Catharanthus seedlings? First of all, coco peat is normally not bare, and the palm is not bear the Phytophthora, aerial Phytophthora, which can be dangerous for the Catharanthus. The second thing why it's preferable, the wood fiber normally produced with a steam treatment of the wood chips. So that's why it's normally free from any kind of diseases. So that's why it's better, can be better substrate even than the peat, because the peat we can consider it as a, for instance, clean substance, or can consider it like a free of disease substrate, because the peat has in a natural condition, it has a too high pH which provide sterile condition into the peat, into the nature. So that's why substrate prepared on the base of peat also can be applicable for the Catharanthus seedling and sowing process. Okay, let's go to the sowing process. Another critical thing, keep pH on the level 5.8. Why it's critical? It is critical because another dangerous disease, which can damage Catharanthus, is televiopsis. It's very sensitive, and not only televiopsis, most of the fungus sensitive to high pH. It's sensitive to low pH, but it can be grown very quickly with a higher pH. So that's why I advise to keep pH in a level 5.8. It's one of the tricky things that mostly out of scope of the many growers. So that's why the pH critical item for Catharanthus, not only because its requirement, it also critical because of sensitivity of fungal diseases. And what about other condition? Of course, Catharanthus like to use a very quite quite porous substrate. So that's why I advise to use a leavening agent like a perlite, not in a high level, about 20-30%. If you apply cocoa with a huge grains, it is possible sometimes not to apply leavening agents. But the best, if you use that agents, it's mostly also sterile. You can use a perlite, sand, zeolite, or vermiculite. But I put here in the sequence from best to worst. The perlite is a mostly clean material, and the perlite is not able to change the pH a lot. Sand, it is also may to say chemically stable material, so it also not change pH. But zeolite and vermiculite can able to change pH, because vermiculite can spread some ions and can give output of some ions and increase the pH. So as you understand, for as because we already know that a high pH for Catharanthus is quite critical, it's better to avoid use vermiculite. But as because it common substrate or common material to cover the seeds, it is possible to use vermiculite as well, but not as a leavening agents. It can be it is possible to use vermiculite as a covering material. And of course, I advise to start with a substrate not filled with a fertilizer, with a pH, with the EC level 0.5. As because it is difficult to manage. Why I advise they use this kind of substrate without fertilizer. You can think maybe I would like to, how to say it, to give you some kind of the common information, or information that which is applicable in the Syngenta. No, there is a one story behind of that, why I advise to use the substrate not filled with the fertilizer. It's only because of one critical thing. Normally, when manufacturer apply the fertilizer into the substrate, you never one things can be and one item can be behind of this story. You cannot control, really cannot control how many fertilizer manufacturer add to the substrate. And the second thing, you cannot control how that fertilizer changed in the substrate with the time. For instance, nitrogen can be utilized with bacteria, and so with the time the level of nitrogen can be decreased. Phosphorus can come into not movable form, or it can be not stable and can be not available when it's when the phosphorus adjusted to the fiber of the peat or cocoa peat. So that's why you cannot control, even if you able to read what kind of fertilizer were added into the substrate, but you cannot control the real concentration into the substrate. So that's why I advise to use the substrate for the not only for the young plants, for all stages of the producing of the production, in the production process, just only for one reason. If you use fertilizer by yourself and not use a peat or substrate filled with fertilizer, you always can manage it by yourself, and you always knows what's happened with your fertilizer, with your substrate. And in the initial stage, I advise to fill the substrate up to level 5 for the Catharanthus. And let's go. How sowing process should be proceed with the Catharanthus. I advise to use a tray size like 288 cells or closer size of the trays. It's not necessary to add multiple seeds into one cell, because Catharanthus has a quite high level of germination. And of course, Catharanthus, as many crops which not require the light for germination, need to be covered. And especially it need to be covered because seed need to take and absorb enough quantity of the water. And the Catharanthus is really hot tolerant crop. Even in the germination stage, it requires to get temperature in the level 23-24 degrees. Even if the temperature can increase up to 25-26, it's also applicable. It will not damage the Catharanthus. So that's why Catharanthus, it's very nice crop, especially in the hot time of the year. And we talked about the acid, how to adjust the watering solution with a acid up to the proper level. Here I display the made to say algorithm, how you can recognize and how you can add the acid in a proper way. Of course, I will not. I don't want to spend a lot of attention, and I not advise for the real professional grower, which able to use a fertigation unit, a fertigation set. Which provide automatically the pH adjustments to the water solution. So these advice mostly for the grower who use the water and who adjust water by themselves. So please keep in mind that pH level is differs from 1 from 0 up to 14th, and when the higher level of pH, the lower level of acid inside of the water. So the number is higher, but the acidity is lower. So it is a strange thing. It came from the chemicals. So it's as because the pH it display the concentration of hydrogen which taken in the negative logarithm. So that's why when the higher level of the higher number, the lower concentration of acid. So if you measure in the water pH and you see the number 7 or 8, it means you need to add more acid. If you see level 4, you need to you need to adjust pH in the water and to reduce acidity. What kind of material normally used to increase acidity, to increase pH level and to decrease acidity? Normally, we have in common situation we have the water pH level on between 7 and between 6 and 8. Normally it is 7. But in some regions, in some location, you can find the pH on the level even 4. It is very it can be observed quite seldom, but it can be. And what happened in that case? I can make some kind of additional advice. This is kind of a gift for you. To increase the pH, it is better to use potassium carbonate. So with the potassium carbonate, you can you can increase the pH from lower level to higher. But normally we have a situation when we have a higher pH level in the water, like a 7 or 8. So in this case, you need to adjust it with the acid, with the adding of some quantity of acid into the water. And I advise to use nitric acid. No, please not use phosphorus acid, because a high quantity of phosphorus can bring a problem. I normally add some comments about the fertilizer, and usually I not advise to use the fertilizer with a high phosphorus level. So as because of this, I not advise to use phosphoric acid to adjust the pH in the water. And how to apply the acid? You can start, of course, you start with the filling that your tanks with water. First step after filling should be checking the pH with a pH meter, pH EC meter. After checking, you will know what's the real level of the pH in the water. Not apply acid right after you add the water into you add water into the tank and dissolve the fertilizer. Just firstly check pH. After this, you have to know do you need to adjust pH or not. And I advise to start with the 10 milliliters. Just add a small quantity of the acid, and after this, next step should be check the checking of the pH level again. After this, you will see how pH changed, and only after this you can take a decision is to apply this water for watering if the pH reach out level required level. In the case, if you see the lower pH, you can add a little bit more water, just few milliliters of acid. Or if you can see the pH is higher, you can add a little bit more water if you had initially water with a higher level of pH. Or as I formerly explained, if you have a very lower or you get a very low level of pH, like a 4 or 3.5, it is possible to use potassium carbonate to adjust the pH to more higher level. So this is more how to say, the more common chemicals to adjust the pH, to decrease acidity and to increase pH level. Next one, Catharanthus diseases. We came to the another items. Here I displayed the more critical diseases can found in the Catharanthus. You can face with the Catharanthus production is televiopsis, isopitium, and rhizoctonia. For each items, I display different type of chemicals and active ingredients. Why I advise here multiple active ingredients instead of one or two. This is a main or key solution to provide a healthy condition to your plants. Because if you apply just only one or two active ingredients, you can face the such phenomena as a disease, as a resistance against the chemicals. So fungus or bacteria, with the time, you can select by yourself with the same chemical more stronger lines of the fungus and of the bacteria. So to avoid this situation, I advise it can be critical advice to change and to rotate chemicals within the growing process. And I advise not apply active ingredients more than 3 times at row. So, for instance, you can start to overcome the pitium. You can start with azoxystrobin, with the chemicals contain that bear azoxystrobin as active ingredient, and you can apply 2 or 3 times, 2 or 3 application. After after third application, I advise to change active ingredient. For instance, you can change on the propamacarb. You can apply the chemical which contains propamacarb. And after this, you can apply propamacarb 3 times at row. And after third application of the chemical with this active ingredient, I advise to change it again on the third one, on the back to the first one. And what about Phytophthora? For Phytophthora, I advise to provide 4 different type of chemicals to organize more. How to say it, more options for rotation, and not to apply the same chemicals quite frequently. So here you can find the examples, and here you can use the concentration I offered in this, mentioned in this table, to provide protection from the diseases. Why it is also critical for extra disease resistant varieties. It can be strange, it can look strange because as we claim, the extra disease resistant, it means plant cannot be infected by Phytophthora. But in reality, some kind of spores can be hosted onto the root or into the tissues, and with time it can be how to say it, more stronger, or it can find a way how to correct the immunity of the plants and start to infect the even extra disease resistant plants. Sometimes it can happen. So that's why I advise to apply and to protect your plant from a Phytophthora, even if you apply extra disease resistant variety, and I advise to apply this as a preventive application before you find any kind of things of the phytophthora damage. So in this stage, I would like to finalize our trip through a sowing process. In the next session, we will touch how to maintain the Catharanthus after germination stage, and how to care about the plants and how to achieve the best results and be the best grower of Catharanthus. Thank you, and I think we can come to Q&A session at this moment. We have
Yes,
enough
indeed.
time.
Yes, we have a question from Dixit. Could you explain for how many isolates of phytotype Cora XTR is showing resistance?
It is resistant against the 35 lines of the Phytophthorus. 45 isolated lines. It means what means lines? I think you understand what it means. It's a different type of genetic of Phytophthora, the same species but different genetics. More than 35 lines. Not cannot easily infest our genetic of our Catharanthuses, XDR Catharanthuses. Yeah, we're talking about XDR.
And do you have any information how many strains competitive varieties have?
It's this is normally about 10, or if I remember correctly, about the 12 strains of the Phytophthora. Most common strains can be overcome by competitive genetic.
Okay, so there is a big difference.
Yeah.
Okay. Good to stress that here. Any other questions from the members? Let's see. Thank you, Ivan, from Takes It.
Yeah. Okay, and I advise to ask your questions with a WhatsApp or with a mail, and reach out your key account manager or me by mail or by WhatsApp as well. If you have any questions, please ask. Any kind of advices you also can find in our site, www.syngenta.com. And please not forget to send your feedback on this webinar. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's www.syngentaflowers.com/APAC. That's the best way to find the relevant information. Thanks, Ivan, for again a very interesting presentation. Thanks for everybody who joined. Make sure that you attend the part 2 as well as our other webinars. We will inform you about the dates and times so that you can sign up as soon as possible. Thanks everybody for joining, and have a lovely day. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.